Welcome to a special. Welcome to a special yours truly coffee with yours truly Dragon in this afternoon. For myself, a cup of coffee. It'll be a short introduction to the Global Dragon Workers Alliance, a project of which the inception came about in my theoretical writings a few years ago, and the many philosophical, theoretical, social, political, psychosexual, and artistic writings of which yours truly has written tens of thousands of pages, some on USB keys, such as this one, and other USB keys which spring cleaning again, second time this Friday. Hope to retrieve. I know where it is, but I haven't plugged it in a few weeks, and I don't know if it's still functioning. I'll be able to retrieve those writings uttered by hand, still writing by hand. Yours truly, millennial. Worked out this morning. This afternoon, gonna do a little bit of mind meditation. And after news at 6, it is currently 5:33 p.m. EST in Hawk Island, Montreal. Sun is shining. I will be going for a march, or a 3-hour march, sunset march in this Hawk Island, Montreal. After 6, 7:18 is the sunset here in Hawk Island, Montreal. 7:18, and of course, on the west coast it will be still sun shines. This 3-hour time zone. The Global Dragon Workers Union. That's my call to unite the labor unions under a new 21st century, updated and integrated unions of unions in this 21st century where we have a post-COVID economic, financial, and commercial system which is of pleasure and of purpose. We have built civilization. Now is not just the time for maintenance. There's a lot of cleaning, including my underground room, office, and temple, which I do admit I gotta do. I'm literally on the ground. I cleaned 2 days ago, and yesterday a little bit, and this morning a little bit, and it's a constant cleaning. I do not play it self-righteous. I admit I get dirty, but I get back clean. I like to get dirty, but get back clean with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene. The Global Dragon Workers Union is not an LGBTQ rainbow, although this rainbow dragon is a rainbow dragon. LGBTQ is exclusive, but of course you have to at least be tolerant of LGBTQ community members, hopefully, and not that me or I speak for myself or my willingly loving allies and armies, but even that words towards my fellow LGBTQ community being tolerant can be rather offensive. What do you gotta tolerate us for? Are we bothering you somehow? Anyways, it is not an LGBTQ exclusive, but of course is founded by yours truly, Adrian Hanna Dragon, and is founded by a member of the LGBTQ community. Now that I'm meditating during this meditation, I want to say, although I am struggling economically, financially, commercially, I am triple vaccinated and open for business. Although struggling, I would like to say a gratitude and a thankfulness and a mindfulness, but of my spiritual meditations, which have a practical, very also earthy, down in the here and now. And although my rent is paid, I'm grateful for that. My electricity bill is paid. 1/3 of my phone bill is paid. To that trinity of 1/3 of my phone bill is paid, and electricity bill is paid, and rent is paid, and hopefully a lot of us admit, because statistics do show, especially millennials, we've been cut out from a lot of property ownership, especially millennials, and housing. housing access or the increasing costs of housing in Canada and across North America and the West. I'm speaking as a, although a global LGBTQ citizen, I'm also act local and think global. I gotta think global and act local. As much as I act local here with purchasing fair trade and do the recycling and the compost and gotta be environmental and as fair as can be, I do have to act local as much as I am global and international and have a universal heart. That being stated, if we are honest with ourselves, a lot of us are not doing so great economically, financially, and commercially. There's a lot of debt. My debt, and now I gotta mention that due to the raising of the interest rates, due to the central bank and how the system works, and of course I am advocating and have been advocating, and through the platform of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, of which I'm calling all willingly living to support the joint mission, vision, and philosophy thereof, that I am for a 10%, 10%, 10% plateau of interest across all ALL loans. After, of course, implementing my theory, part of the trinity of theories known as debt refusion theory, refusing all private and public debt. I recognize, admit guilty that I am 9,978, $22, close to $10,000 in debt, although I'm grateful that I am grateful that my rent is paid and got food. Matter of fact, I gotta give a shout out. I've taken from a local foods source here from food security in the neighborhood in Hawk Island, Montreal yesterday, and still have some leftovers after my march, which will indulge in. Watching a movie after I go marching for more than 3 hours, after this cup of coffee, and after 6 sunset march for world peace, and meditating on the Global Dragon Workers Union, which is inception dates to about circa in my years of struggle and suffering and dealing with precarious work and having experienced many different few employments with placement agencies and organizations and the protections and the intricacies of philosophy and the work experiences and whatever have you. In my self-education, wow, I've made the libraries of the city of Montreal, Hawk Island, my second home, and the many of tens of thousands of books, my friends, and I've read tens of thousands of books. I'm still reading, learning every day. In a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path. In this life, it is philosophy, art, psychosexual theory, spiritual theory, philosophical, political, financial theory, economic theory, the art, the irrational, and emotional aspects of life, and they can go hand in hand, balanced, harmonious, equilibrium way. And my way to express that is that 2 plus 2 does equal 4. Doesn't mean that, my brothers and sisters, we have to write 2 plus 2 equals 4 in one color, only black, or only white, or only green, the color of the Dancing Goddess Army, or only red, the color of the Dragon Army, or only one of those colors. We can actually write 2 plus 2 in all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white. Example, you can write the 2 in green, the plus line can write one line black, the other white. The other 2 we can write it in red or green depending on whatever we wrote the first one, or both green and red and another color together. The equal sign, we can write the top line black, the bottom white, or vice versa. And the 4, we can write one line purple, one line pink, one line orange. Thus, in the equation 2 plus 2 equals 4, we can write it in black and white and rainbow. So we can have all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white, meaning that this is the equation, and mathematics and logic have to work hand in hand, balance and counterbalance by our emotions and feelings. And feelings and emotions do matter. I have them of my own. I get triggered, I get upset, I get offended, I get emotional. I was depressed, I struggled with depression, struggled with suicide, struggled with many issues. Being only 7 years ago, marked on Halloween, since I am open, being androgynous and pansexual, and yours truly has indeed struggled and do struggle, still get moody. Yesterday night before I went on my march, was a bit moody, was a bit upset. So I said, what am I going to do? Well, I know what has worked for me. It is working out, training and exercising, taking a long, more than an hour walk, breathing, meditating on civilization, and knowing that a lot of people are also suffering and struggling, and think we got to focus on with solutions, that we got to focus on with solutions. So I always do what solution has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly. That is working out, training, and exercising. Having created my own workout, general war integrated whole body training system, which I've performed the 230th session earlier this morning. So the Global Universal Dragon Alliance, Dragon Union, the International Dragon Workers Alliance Union, however you want to phrase it, to be for the 21st century, where we work towards an economy of purpose and of pleasure. And although in my writings, about 50 to 100 pages of theoretics, the general application is that we gotta, of course, integrate, coming again to my trinity of theory, citizen integration theory. So one formulation is that since 1984, I pinpoint 1984 as the election of Ronald Reagan. 1984, Ronald Reagan, President of the United States, and yours truly was an American twice in past lives, many incarnations, many past lives. In 1984, Ronald Reagan was elected, although not blaming on him solely, but of course that's the beginning of the policies set in motion to corporatize and make it financialize the United States of America, the dominant economic, financial, commercial system still. United States of America, Canada, North American civilization, of course, integrated with Mexico as well, and to that extent, the Western civilization. And trickle-down economics has not been trickled down, and has quite went from the middle class more up, and even from the lower class to the middle class, and even up, and with the slow elimination, most elimination of the middle class, and the indebtedness of the lower middle classes. From an economic, financial, commercials perspective, again, I'm speaking economics, finance, commercial, not necessarily by merit or by karma or by talent or by spiritual merit or karma or talent. There's good in all the classes, but this is the classification that is also terminology, which of course we have to be to a certain extent sensitive about and rather diplomatic about in our field, but sometimes we also have to be straightforward and fucking direct. 1984, Ronald Reagan, the trickle-down economies has enriched the corporate class, has enriched discovered the financialization of the democratic financial system, and as a route for financialization and corporatization. So a new global techno-corporate financialized system has emerged since 1984. So the Global Dragon Union is to balance, bring harmony and balance to that. Do not play self-righteous, got issues, got vices, get moody, get upset. Sometimes it's best straightforward and direct, and yours truly, Dragon Zero, aka Limp Dick, does have his own issues, his own peculiarities, an own eccentric. I am creative and independent philosopher, thinker. Do not claim to have all the answers, however, do firmly believe that this is part of the protocol and answer, which for the 24th century, for a post-COVID economy to be renewed and regenerated, local, national, and international, while we work towards attaining a new world order of world peace, international justice, and secured and ensured global freedom, and to that trinity of justice, peace, and ensured freedom, to attain harmony between civilization and nature. So to work towards an economy of purpose and of pleasure. Of purpose, primarily the purpose to not only maintain, but hopefully upgrade civilization. Allow more internet service access, allow more interconnectedness. And purpose, also while doing that, encourage and maximize environmental practices. Make more compost in the urban areas. Myself here in Hawk Island, Montreal, do compost. There's composting. And recycling. Encourage better recycling methods. And with that, integrate with the Dragon Army, citizen integration theory. to see, since another of one of my parallel theories which goes into this is that since 1984, what we had the slowly disappearance of the middle class and the subjugation to interest of the lower classes. We also have, of course, a parallel disconnectedness of many, alienation due to the fact from us that there has been specialization, which is good and great, but has also created this alienation now. The citizen integration theory, the Dragon Army, East, West, North, South, integrated with all existing public and private security forces and armed forces on the ground, securing food, housing, and transport. After those three are secured, thus will ensure freedom to, of course, allocate these services, whatever one can offer with hygiene and consent, with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene. And so this theory, of course, of alienation is not just a theory. We see it with the rise of depression, which is not the only accountability or the only factor in the rise of depression or suicide, but it's a major part of our disconnectedness from the other parts of our economic, financial, and commercial system, being the specialization. So to counter it or to balance the specialization, we necessarily need to have the citizen integration theory, which applied in both the Dragon Army and, of course, the International Integrated Dancing and the Global Dragon Workers Union, the Universal Dragon Workers Alliance, and International Dragon Workers Alliance. So to beyond the East, West, North, South, integrated with all existing private and public institutions, corporations, of course, and to have and encourage volunteerism and cross-sector job and employments, and easy to navigate between the different sectors, an open economy into integrated to see how other sectors of the economy work. For example, how does recycling work? To go on a surveyed with the Dragon Workers Alliance and Workers Union and the Dragon Army and the Dancing Goddess Army to see how recycling is done, where the plant is, how the plant works, how the plant operates, what must we do to do better, how compost is done, how the farm is done, bridging the gap between the rural and the urban, to see and learn about the truck and the supply chains and the supply chains and the supply chains. I'm going to say a gratitude and a thankfulness now to the tens of thousands of truckers who now went from the farmers, thank you, calling the leaders of the free world, go Mr. Parliamentarians in the Parliament of Canada, the Congress of the United States, yours truly as a born in the United States of America, twice in past lives, calling on the U.S. Congress to go give the farmers a good massage. They need it, can't afford the prices are going up, and the truckers washing them with their feet and kissing them with the hands a little bit because they maintain this civilization, and hopefully with my theories put into application and practice to upgrade civilization and to look towards the stars and to work together for a new world order of world peace. Do not have all the answers. My implication and application of my theoretics and philosophical theoretics put into practice, of course, require action and require sweat and require, of course, the action of doing whatever XYZ is to do. And this philosophy, this citizen integration that we need to balance across all levels of society, the economic, financial, and commercial aspect of society, and to integrate across all levels of society and boundaries, so that we have less and less border that divides us in the neighborhoods, whatever, whether art, to see theater, to go on a course to learn with the youth, with the students, and with the workers of all ages, to go see how theater is done, to go cross economic, financial, commercial sectors, artists of the world, workers, truckers, farmers, XYZ, volunteers. Volunteer work is work. Volunteer work is work. Volunteer work is work. I have been volunteering for years and I will continue to volunteer. I am willingly loving calling all volunteers to support this great mission, vision, and philosophy. And all unions, Canada, United States, Teamsters to unite under the Dragon Yours Truly banner. Now, I don't have all the answers. I have these protocols and these theories, and willingly loving to share, and I'm willingly loving to share as I am putting them now. I've written tens of thousands of pages of theory, philosophy, poetry, art, and of course scripts. I'm part of the citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, which I'm presenting now live via Facebook, and of course I'm going to be putting it on YouTube. So back again to the citizen integration theory, applied to this specific of the Dragon Army. And the Dragons Workers Alliance, yours truly, what does it mean? It means that we're going to integrate across sectors. Integrate across sectors to not work only for the profits of a few of the big corporations, but also for purpose and pleasure, to create more wealth for the majority, more economic, financial, and commercial goods, whatever those goods be. Better X, better Y, better Z. I'm wearing the second hand. But I thank my friend, teacher, one I love and co-sister for these pants, our great love. Second hand, this what? This red shirt. So to integrate across all sectors, to see, for example, how farming is done, to go on a farm, to sit for a cup of coffee with a farmer, whether family owned, whether big farming, big corporate farming, to see, for example, the 61 dams here in Quebec. And I'm going to take another moment to say my gratitude, thankfulness for that I got this cup of coffee. And I'm going to do a meditation now in the Dragon Workers Union with the East, West, North, South, Canada, North America. As North American civilization, we have pretty much an economic, financial, and commercial system that is pretty much integrated and across the world for that matter since 1984. However, we have a corporate, financialized, technocratic order which since 94 has been installing slowly in the global corporate financialized order. So to balance, bring harmony, would be the Dragons Union in order to apply, of course, citizen integration theory. And citizen integration theory, which of course with the Dragon Army and the Dragons Workers Union to foster volunteerism and cross sectoral between all sectors of the economy, from the farming to the artist, from the theater to the trucker, from the trucker who delivers the food to the grocery store clerk. Have a union of unions and fully integrated and expanding with programs to learn and combat, fight alienation. Have more integration and combat alienation. Combat alienation, because alienation has been a true factor. I've been studying, reading, and still am learning every day. As much as I've acquired a people's PhD, I am yours truly, the people's doctor. I don't know it all, don't claim to know it all, do not have all the answers. But this I do know, there is and has been growing alienation, indebtedness of the Lord, and disappearance of the middle class. We gotta build an economy for purpose and pleasure. Main purpose, to bring harmony between civilization and nature. Main purpose, to bring harmony between civilization and nature. Main purpose, to bring harmony between civilization and nature and the development goals thereof. And world peace, international justice and security, and ensure global freedom. In parallel to that, pleasure. And of course, my philosophy in all workplaces, my brothers and sisters, workers, artists, workers, independent artists, athletes, activists, AAA, workers like yours truly, artist work, sex work is work, legalizing sex work, pleasure work, massages. Look, many workers cannot afford a massage. Right now, I'm gonna my gratitude. I've been bitching, bullshitting, was upset because I said I couldn't afford a goddamn massage. I don't make much by commission. Don't get my $1 via PayPal donation or commission to work out, train, exercise, or to do a dance. Looking for willingly loving volunteer to build a Dragon application. But also during those years of struggle and suffering, suicidal, depressed, working out, training, exercise, and has been menacing for me, and I'm calling for the mass financing thereof. And the workers to incentivize physical activity, jogging sessions, doing the general war integrated full body training system, dance session, spa session, weekly spa session, weekly even massage therapy. Man, I'm still craving now. I'm a little bit upset. I'm thinking about it that I cannot afford a massage therapy. It's out of the reach for many. To have a for purpose, to balance, bring harmony for the economy. Of course, to upgrade the civilization, to look for the stars, and upgrading, of course, meaning channeling the aggressions and integrating, fighting alienation, of course, which has been triggered or caused, if you will, not only but mainly by the specialization, which is great, but to a certain extent we have seen, and I read reports, and I can see that there's a correlation, not only the only correlation, but the direct correlation between alienation and depression, and not being able to be friendly and on a friendly basis with our neighbors, with in the big cities and the small cities, in the east and the west and the north and the south, north, local, national, and international. So the citizen integration theory based on the theories, of course, of the economy of purpose and pleasure, of purpose and pleasure. Pleasure as well. With consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene, and of course to try to turn work into a little bit of play based on some psychological theories that have read in the past. So, for example, one of my creative ways is to have weeks where, or some choose to dress with red, symbolizing a certain element or their dispositions, or in green, a certain willingness to do some services for others, such as massage, washing of the feet, whatever, kissing, hugging, whatever it is, or rainbow, part of the LGBTQ community, or other color to symbolize that they're just about business and work that day, or XYZ, or that they're feeling and having their emotions XYZ, or wear a unicorn, or whatever red, or whatever the case may be. And so integrate for purpose and for pleasure. Main purpose, of course, is to maximize and upgrade civilization, and part of it is to bring harmony between nature and civilization. And the pleasure also has to be with consent and hygiene, taking the diversity of our different personalities, characters, dispositions, education, XYZ knowledge, and we can acquire skills, and that in certain things we're not so good, other things we're okay, but also integrate and experience open work, open work, open work, for example, to go and have availability to clock in with application and internet technology and all live stream via all Facebook and telecommunications and Instagram platforms and radio and television, and 1-800 number to see, for example, say I'm gonna go work 4 hours there, is there an open spot there to go experience how to flip some burgers. I'm not good at that, but I can go do some work, for example, help a trucker out, get some unloading, or give the trucker a massage or a service. XYZ, service, an economy of service, of purpose, hopefully the purpose to upgrade civilization and maintain and upgrade, and by upgrading also bringing balance between harmony between nature and civilization and pleasure. So also, if there's workers who don't get along, no need to say he said, she said, he said, she said, he said, she said. Better to address the issue in a brotherly, sisterly, loving way. Say, hey, I didn't like this, you said this, I didn't like that, you said that. Okay, how can we do? Well, go XYZ, do this, do that. Sorry, brother, sorry, sister, I didn't know. XYZ. Simple rules, effective, efficient, in a brotherly, sisterly, lovingly, with understanding way. Nothing too complicated or too complex of rules and regulations. Better directness, warning, and of course, give everybody a warning. Because I've experienced with placement agencies who, abuse workers. One of my dragon workers abused or misused. Warning, please don't do this again. You're late. Please think XYZ. Second warning, a third. Everybody deserves second and third chances. I got my plenty of second and third chances. And I'm not perfect, far from it. Got issues, got vices, get moody, get upset, get triggered. I don't want to start rapping. If I start rapping, a deliciously disgusting diatribe of rap as an underground rapper. Rap is allowed. You know, so rapping, could you go directly? Could you please go in the area? The area for letting loose. Areas for letting loose. Areas for letting loose, or areas for pleasure. Areas designated. Somebody gets a little bit angry. It's 15 minutes to go scream or do some push-ups or on a spa or get a massage or whatever. In any case, to regular, but of course with tracking, proof of work, and the XYZ with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene. For purpose and pleasure. Purpose to maintain and upgrade civilization, bringing it par with the environmental, addressing climate change, and addressing the socio-economic, financial, commercial inequalities, my brothers and sisters. No way that can continue the freedom and democracy blah 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 with these growing economic, financial, commercial inequalities. There's no way. Part of this, my theories put into application, and this unit will address that. Of course, the Dragon Army securing food, housing, and transport. Transport, food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport, and the maintenance thereof, the Dragon Army and the integration thereof. Then across all sectors of the economy to allow volunteering and encourage and reward volunteering of doing across all sectors of the economy to see how things are done. For example, I'm going to say another gratitude. My rent's paid, I'm thankful, grateful. My electricity bill is paid, I'm grateful, thankful. 1/3 of my phone bill is paid, I'm grateful, thankful. Fourth dimension on this 22-day journey, which I began March 20th and will end April 10th. I count how many noodle bags I have, about 50. I got seven or six big bags of pasta, 2 pounds each, 900 grams, and about 13 cans of sardines. In theory, even if I don't buy, acquire, or get any other food, in theory I could just survive on this. I'm grateful, thankful. I'm doing a meditation now. The Dragon Army in parallel with the Dragon Workers Union on the ground and integrated all existing institutions and organizations. See right now, thousands of truckers, my brothers and sisters, truckers, farmers, grocery store clerks, loading, unloading trucks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're also got to do some action because saying I love you, I love you, I love you, it's got to be balanced by some action, some doing, some doing, some doing, some doing, some doing. So on the ground, on the floor, to give them some service. Integrated the Dragon Army Dragon Global Workers Unit. Say, hey, I've been driving for 10 hours, 11 hours, 12, 13 hours. I'm bringing oranges from Florida all the way to Montreal. I'm stopping there. Can a member of the Dragon Workers Union or Dragon Army? I can't afford it, everything's going up expensive. They don't want to give me a raise XYZ. I don't get a raise XYZ. But if you have food, housing, and transport, and provide services, money becomes really as a means of exchange, and it is money. What is money? It's a means of exchange, and of course, I am advocating via my debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, by biometrics, the hand, the voice, and the eye being unique biometric identifiers. Offering a massage, texts or calls 1-800 number or text, Facebook, integrated application via the application to be created. So hey, can somebody give me a half an hour massage or a 20-minute neck rub because I'm dying here and I can't afford it to pay. It costs $100 for half an hour. Is gonna bankrupt me. My brother, my sister, trucker, XYZ, whatever. We got you. Yep, sure, no problem, no problem. We'll do it with love. We'll do it with brotherly, sisterly love. Services, on demand, whatever with consent and hygiene can be given. And then integrate across all platforms and make work to be able to rotate and to integrate across all levels. Go see how radios, telecommunications works, the radio stations, the TV stations, the farms, the grocery chains, all the truckers, all levels of the economic, financial, commercial system. Volunteer and to integrate and to make easy to navigate and to have an integrated workers union which allows for work and volunteering, and of course to cross-sectional to fight specialization and alienation. Thus the alienation due to specialization, and to have more integration and reach some joy and learning more about others. And in this, I'll give you the call of the Universal Dragon Union. The Universal Dragon Union. The Universal Dragon Union. I'm going to read this. Don't usually read. However, this time we'll read it. Calling for an international workers' alliance and a new universal revolutionary centrist global workers' union. in cooperation with the International Citizens Integrated Social Security and Service Force and the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, the Dragon Global Union, the Global Dragon Union, to be an international integrated representative workers' union, generally in order to balance the present corporate financialized democratic capitalist system, which since Ronald Reagan's election in 1984 has been slowly eroding general income, creating a struggling and disappearing middle class, fostered environmental, social, political, and even spiritual malaise in order to enrich a few by putting profits over people. So although we do not negate profits, put profits to, by upgrading, or maintaining at least, or upgrading civilization by moving it towards a new world order of world peace, international justice, and security that ensure global freedom, generally in order to balance the global corporate financialized democratic system. In theory, to transform work into play, as much as we can, with consent and hygiene, work into play with purpose. Theory to transform work into play with purpose and apply the social, psychological, economical, political philosophy called, this is my own theory written over the many past 7 years, written tens of thousands of pages of theory, philosophy, and poetry. Theory for an economy of purpose and pleasure. In order to do so, theory for an economy of purpose and pleasure. In order to do so, theory for an economy of purpose and pleasure. In order to do so, theory for an economy of purpose and pleasure. In order to do so, with creative specifics, principles, protocols, and activities such as integration across all social media with webcams, live streaming, etc. For example, number one, wearing green or wearing red or wearing black, or rainbow suits or workers' suits to represent specific days or special weeks or tasks, with choice for activities or openness to receive or give services. Warning before complaints, warning before complaints, warning before complaints. Brotherhood and sisterhood, understanding, communication over dialogue, over communication and dialogue over gossip. Over gossip. Over gossip principles. Other such philosophies, principles, protocols, and modes of operation. There you have it. With that, a brief introduction to the Global Dragons Union.